Okay, welcome to Python Programming Language. This is Unit 2, lecture number 1. This lectures cover chapter 2 of our course textbook. Now, the motivation behind this lecture is, for example, giving a student loan. If we take a student loan and we know the loan amount, we also know the loan term, how many years we have to pay the loan finish, and also the interest rate, the annual interest rate. Can you write a program using Python language to compute the monthly payment and also the total payment? So this lecture will show us how to write a program like this. Again, given the loan amount, and also we know the loan term and the annual interest rate, we can be able to write a program to compute the monthly payment and also the total payment. So our main objective is to learn how to write and run a simple Python program. We're also going to explain the basic syntax of the Python program and also to obtain an input from a program's user by using the input function. We're also going to learn how to use the variables and how to assign data to variables and also the arithmetic operations in Python language. So we're going to start with the first program here, a very simple program to compute the area of a circle. So this program, again, will compute the area of a circle. So let's see the code. Now, we said earlier in lecture unit 1 that in programming or in computing in general, we always need some input, or we say a data. A computer needs a data, or a computer program needs a data to process, then give us a result. So here we want to find the area of a circle. Now, to find the area of a circle, the only data we need is the radius or the diameter of the circle. In this case, we are using the radius. So first, our input is we assign 20 to the radius. Now, in Python language, one equal sign means assignment. It's not like college algebra or mathematics. Now, equality means you use two equal signs. So if I say radius equal 20 means I'm checking or making sure the content in radius is 20. But if we use only one equal sign, it means I'm assigning 20 to radius. So now I got my input that we need. Next, I'll find the area. To find the area, to be the radius times the power. Then the result, I'm going to use the print function to print it. So here we are going to print the content. If we want to print the content of a radius, we want to print the content of a radius. The radius is the name of the variable. We just have to write the name of the variable. If we put it in a double quotation, it becomes a string and it will print the word radius. For example, we have the area for the circle of radius in double quotation, which means it's going to print that strings for us. But radius here without a double quotation means it's going to print the content of the variable radius. We are going to print the content of the area. The area variable would hold the answer for the area of the circle. So again, it's input, process, and output. Our input here is to get the data for radius, which is 20. The process is to find the area of the circle. And the output is to display the result of the area of the circle. So we will go through the program one more time here. This is to trace the program execution. So this program, again, in computer language, most computer programming language, execution starts from top down. So when we run this program, the first thing operating system is going to allocate a memory space for radius and assign 20 to it, which we have it here. Then next, we are going to use that 20 to find the area. So it will be 20 times 3.1459. The answer is 1256.636. Then next, we are going to display the result. So when we run this program, our result will be the area for the circle of radius 20. 20 is the content of the radius variable. Is 1256.636, which is the content of the area. So again, input, process, and output. Our input is to assign 20 to radius. Our process is to compute the area. And our output is to display the results of the area. So now, how do we read an input from a console? Now, we use the input function. Previous program, we use assignment operator and we assign 20. But now we can give a user option that when you run the program, it can use his keyboard to enter the input. In order to do that, we need to use a function called the input function. So now when you use the input function to get an input from keyboard, the data type will be string, which means we can't use it for arithmetic operations. So we have to convert it to int, or we convert it to float. Float means a decimal value. Int means a whole number. So here they say use the float and int functions to convert a string to a float or int. So anytime we use an input function, when we enter our data, even we enter values, but the values data type still is going to be a string. So we need to convert it to float or int in order to do calculations. So let's see an example here. Here they say compute area with a console input. So the same program previously, but previously we remember we said radius, we assign 20 to it. This time we are using the input function, and the argument of the function will be the instruction. So when I run this program, I will see on my screen console that I should enter a number for the radius. Then I'm going to enter the number. Then the number will be converted to float before we store it in the radius variable. Then now I can find the area, which will be radius times 3.1459. Then we print the result same as the previous example. So always when we are using the input function, the argument will be the instruction, what we want the user to do. So maybe we can write enter your age or enter your weight, so the user know what to enter. So next is the identifiers. So in Python language, identifiers means almost all the Python types. I would say the objects. Example of an identifier will be variable, class, functions, methods, etc. So here we say an identifier is a sequence of characters that consists of letters, digits, underscores, and asterisks. Now, if I have a variable as identifier, the variable will have a name. And the only characters and digits and underscores and asterisks I can use for the name. And also identifier name must start with a letter or the underscore. We cannot start with a digit. So yes, it cannot start with a digit. Also, an identifier cannot be a reserved word. In Python, reserved word means that very word is understood by Python. So for example, print. In Python, print means to print something on the screen, on the console. So if I name an identifier print, I'll get an error. Unless I start the print with uppercase character, or I have any uppercase character, because we know in Python it's a case sensitive. So if the print is all lowercase, or the print is all uppercase, or we have one uppercase, then the two are not the same. In Java, in Python use print as lowercase print. So I can name identifier as a print, and I will start with uppercase P. Now the identifier name can be any length. So here we say an identifier can be of any length. So let's see example for variables. So first we have, and also as we said in our unit 1 lectures, the pound sign here means this is a comment. The Python compiler will ignore this comment, compute the first area. So here, what we have here now is a radius. And the radius is a variable. And we assign 1.0 to it, which means the radius variable data type is a float or double. It's a decimal value. Then we do our calculation again, radius times 3.1459, and we assign the result to another variable named area. Then we can print the result. Our second calculations, this time the radius is 2.0 instead of 1.0. We calculate the area, then we print the result also. Now, what is a Python expression? Expression can be a single value. For example, here we assign 1 to x or 1.0 to radius. This is an expression. Also, expression can be arithmetic formula for now. For example, here we have 5, asterisk means times 3 divided by 2 plus 3 times 2. Now, the order of precedency in arithmetics or college algebra is the same in Python. So in Python, the parenthesis is first, then multiplication, division from left to right, then addition, subtraction from left to right. So always parenthesis first. Here we don't have no exponent, but normally parenthesis first, exponent second, then we have multiplication, division from left to right, then we have addition, subtraction. So this is another example for assignment statement. We assign 1 to x. We can also assign s plus 1 to s. What this means is that we have a x value already. We had 1 to it, then we assign the value to the same s variable. So the s variable have a content. S value is already, old value is there. When we had 1 to it, we assign the new value to the same variable. So s equal to s plus 1. Now here we can use this assignment operator in this form. For example, we have 3 variables, but I want to assign 1 to all of them. So in this case, I can say I equal to j equal to k equal to 1. So we can have a simultaneous assignment as we saw previous. And one thing also that Python gives us is how to swap 2 values. So for example, x comma space y equal to y comma space x. This means I'm swapping the value from x to y and y to x. Only Python allows this. Normally in Java or other programming language, we need to declare a third variable, which will be the temp. Then we put x in the third variable. Then we take the value of y to x. Then we take the value in the third variable to y. Then we change it because we put x into y. And we take y to x. We put s into a third variable named temp. So x is in temp. When we give y to x, we override s already, but we have s in the temp. Then we give the content of the temp to y. So we swap. Also in Python, we have what we call the name constants. We can declare variable and we may have a constant value. So normally when you declare a constant variable, we need to initialize it to the constant value that we are going to assign to it. So here we say the value of a variable may change during the execution of a program, but a name constant or simply constant represents a permanent data that never changes. So Python does not have a special syntax for naming constants, but you can simply create a variable to denote a constant value. So I create a variable, then I initialize it to any value, and that value will be constant. So to distinguish a constant from a variable, use all uppercase letters. This is just a convention. So when I write a program and I have a variable and the name of the variable is uppercases throughout, I know this variable have a constant value store. So this is an example of a numerical data types. As we said, in Python, we have a whole number and also we have a decimal number. So integer is a whole number. Example will be 3 and 4. Float is a decimal number. Example 3.0, 4.0. So in Python, these are the arithmetic operations, or I would say the arithmetic operators or numeric operators. We have addition. So for example, we can say 34 plus 1, the answer will be 35. We also have subtraction, which is the same as regular algebra or arithmetics. It's minus, so 34.0 minus 0.1. That will give me 33.9. Now, multiplication is asterisk sign. So multiplication here, we say 300 multiplied by 30. That will give me 9,000. Then we have two division. One single division backslash does what we call the float division. So if I say 5, only one backslash, 2, my answer will be 2.5. But if I say 5, 2 backslash, which is the integer division, it will not give me the decimal place. So it will give me the answer only 2 instead of 2.5. So sometimes we may need, based on whatever we are trying to do, we may like to do our division in a whole number. We don't need a decimal answer. So in this case, I'll use the integer division, double slashes. We also have the exponential. Exponential is 2 asterisks. It doesn't change, the same thing, double asterisk, which means exponential. Then the remainder will be percent. So the remainder means if I divide two values, what is the remainder? So for example, we say 5% 4. 5% 4, the remainder will be 1. Because 5 divided by 4, the answer is 1, remainder 1. So this is how the percent operator works. Again, it's a remainder. So let's say we have 7 divided by 3. The answer is 2. The remainder is 1. So which means 7 modulus or percent 3, the answer will be 1. Because the percent, the answer you get is only the remainder answer. And same thing apply here. I have 12 divided by 4. The answer will be 3, remainder 0. So in this case, the answer will be 0 for remainder. Then we have 26 divided by 8. The answer is 3. 3 times 8 is 24. 24 from 26 will give me 2. So this means again, 26 modulus 8, the answer will be again 2. So the remainder operator again is a very important operator. We can use it to know the last digit of our value and do a lot of things. So for example, here we say a remainder is a very useful in programming. For example, an even number modulus 2 is always 0. And also an odd number modulus 2 is always 1. So you can see this property to determine whether a number is even or odd. So anytime I want to check if a specific number is even or odd, I'll just use modulus 2. So here we're going to write a program that will obtain minutes and remaining seconds from seconds. So first we need the input again. So we use the input function and we tell the user to enter an integer for seconds. When the user enters the seconds finish, we want to get the minutes and the remaining seconds. So for example, if a user enter 3,000 seconds, we want to know how many, again, minutes will be inside. We can also do it in a way that how many hours, how many minutes, and the remaining seconds. So here, again, we prompt the user for input. The user enter input for seconds. Then we want to get the minutes. So in order to get the minute, we know 60 seconds is 1 minute. So we divide by 60. And here we are doing the int division because we don't want a remainder decimal values. So after we find the remaining from seconds, we convert to minutes. Then we want to find out the remaining minutes. Maybe if I have 126 seconds and I want to know how many minutes, I'll get 2 minutes, 6 seconds because 126. 2 minutes is 120 seconds. So 126 seconds means 2 minutes, 6 seconds. So that's where we use this concept. To get the minutes, we divide by 60. Now we want to know the remaining minutes. Like if I divide 126 again by 60, I'll get 2. But there's a remainder, 6. So the remainder is where we use the seconds modulo 60, and that will give us the remaining. So we finish. This program is, we get an input, the input will be in seconds, and we convert our result to, again, minutes and seconds. So to convert to minutes, we divide by 60, and we want to know if there's any remaining seconds still after we divide the value by 60. So that's where we use seconds modulo 60 to see if there's any remainder. So we also have the concept we call the overflow. Now here, when a variable is assigned a value and the value is too large in terms of the size and the value to store, it causes overflow. So for example, executing following statement can cause overflow. We have 245 to the power of 1000. That value will be over big, too big. So result is too large. So we may have overflow error. Underflow means the value is too small. So when a floating point number is too small, that is too close to 0 to be stored, it causes underflow. So Python approximates it to 0. So normally you should not be concerned with underflow. Only the overflow we should concern. We also can have a scientific notation as a data type in Python, which we know in arithmetic operations. The first digit should be a value between 1 to 9. It shouldn't be 2 digits, and it shouldn't start from 0. Then from there, it depends on the value we have. Here in this case, we have 1.23456 exponential 2, or ye2, which means 2 positive. Since the 2 is positive, it will increase the value. So the actual value should be 123.456. In this case, we don't need the 2. So arithmetic expression, which will be the last section, this is example. We have 3 plus 4x over 5, 10y minus 5 times a plus b plus c over x. Then we have another. So we can convert this arithmetic expression to Python, which is what we have here. Now 3 plus 4, when we are doing multiplication, we always have to show the symbol. Now, if you are used to college algebra or arithmetic, we can just write 4x, which means 4 times x. But in computer, we have to specify it, so we write 4 times x divided by 5 minus 10 times y minus 5 times a plus b plus c divided by x, plus 9 times 4 by x plus 9 plus s by y. Now, how to evaluate the arithmetic expression? As we said earlier, the evaluation will be in a regular mathematics, the order of precedence, parentheses first. If we have exponent, we do exponent second. Then we do again addition, multiplication, division, then addition, subtraction last. We can also do exponent. Exponent normally will come after the parentheses. So also in Python, we have something called a compound instruction. So if I have plus equal, example here is I plus equal 8, which means I equal to I plus 8. Whatever result I get, I will give it back to X. And another example here for conversion. So if we want to convert the data, same as we see the input function. If I have 4.5 and I want to convert it to int, I can just use the int. Or if I want to convert it to a decimal value, then I can use the float. So now let's see one more example here, keeping 2 digits after decimal points. So we're going to write this program, cell stars. So first we need an input from the user, which will be the purchase amount. So we have input, we tell the user enter purchase amount. When user enter it finish, we convert it to float so we can use it for arithmetic operation. So here we are going to compute the cell stars, which will be the amount that we purchase times 6% of the tax. Then after that, we can print again our content. So here we say sales tax is int tax times 100. So that will be the conclusion of our lectures. In these lectures, again, we learn the basic concept of Python programming language, how to declare variable and how to use them, and also the arithmetic operations. How do we assign input to a variable? And again, see you in the next lectures. Thank you.